First, let's welcome our candidates. Senator Barack Obama of Illinois, Senator Joe Biden of Delaware, Governor Bill Richardson of New Mexico, Senator Christopher Dodd of Connecticut, former Senator John Edwards of North Carolina, and Senator Hillary Clinton of New York. Thank you all for being here today. The rules are simple. I'll ask the questions and let you know how much time you have to answer. There are timing lights. You'll see a yellow light when you have 10 seconds left, and the red light means it's time to stop. I'll try not to be a Scrooge about it since it's the season, but I will ask you to respect the time so we don't have to shorten up answers down the line and there's plenty of time for conversation. We have lots of candidates and lots of ground to cover. I will offer up to 30 seconds of rebuttal time to any candidate criticized by name, and I'll include other candidates who indicate they want to jump in as long as we have time. We'll explain everything else as we go along, so let's get to it. We're going to start with a discussion about the financial situation facing our country, the single biggest issue Iowans of both parties said they wanted you to talk more about. Would it be a priority of your administration to balance the federal budget every year? If yes, how? If no, why not? Senator Obama, I'd like you to start us off. You'll have 1 minute.
You know, over the last 7 years, what we've seen is an economy that's out of balance. Because of the policies of George Bush and the Republicans in Congress, not only do we have fiscal problems, but we've got growing inequality. And so people are working harder for less, and they're seeing costs from everything from college education to health care to gas at the pump go up. So what I want to do is get the long-term fundamentals right. That means that we are investing in education, we're investing in infrastructure, we're getting our trade deals structured so that they're fair, and that we are also ending the war in Iraq, where we're spending $10 to $12 billion a month. That is money that can be applied back here at home for critical issues. Now, the fact is that we're not going to be able to do this unless we're able to overcome some of the special interests that have clogged up the system and created trillions of dollars worth of tax loopholes and tax breaks. We need to put those tax breaks and tax loopholes back into the pockets of hardworking Americans.
And so, just so I'm clear, a priority to balance the federal budget, or not necessarily?
We are not going to be able to dig ourselves out of that hole in 1 or 2 years. But if we can get on a path of sustained growth, if we can end the war in Iraq, end some of the special interest loopholes and earmarks that have been clogging up the system, then I think we can return to a path of a balanced budget.
Governor Richardson, you wanted to jump in?
Well, as a governor, I have to, by law, balance budgets. I've balanced 5. And it would be a major priority of mine. And this is what I would do as president. We have to balance the budget. I would advocate for line item veto authority for the president, a constitutional amendment to balance the budget. There's $73 billion in corporate welfare that needs to be eliminated. I think we all have to sacrifice the Congress too, and that means eliminating congressional earmarks. That means also having pay-as-you-go policies in our budget, that if somebody thinks of a new program or is going to cut a tax, we've got to make sure that it's paid for. But most importantly, I believe it's balancing the budget should be viewed as an opportunity to have economic growth, the way we did in the Clinton years. We created new jobs, we stopped raiding the Social Security Trust Fund, and there was economic growth in this country. That's what I would do as president.
Senator Biden?
I think it's pretty straightforward, and it's not you don't have to make a choice of balancing the budget and/or leading with the priorities that most of us feel strongly about, from health care to education to the environment. And I just put it in real stark terms. It's about priorities. I apologize for my cold. It's about priorities. Just by eliminating the war, eliminating the $200 billion in tax cuts that aren't needed goes to the top 1% if you add it all up, and by cutting somewhere in the order of $20 billion a year out of the military for special programs, from Star Wars to a new atomic weapon to the F-22 to the Nimitz class destroyer, you can save $350 billion. That would allow me to do everything I want to do, my priorities on education, health care, and the environment, and still bring down the deficit by $150 billion. It would cost less than half of. So the Republicans are trying to sucker us into this. You either have to balance the budget and do nothing to make people's lives better, or you're going to balloon the deficit. They have ballooned the deficit with their bad priorities.
We're just going to go down the line with this one. Senator Todd.
Well, listen, the federal government's much different than a state government. I say respectfully to Bill Richardson here. It's much more complicated and diverse. I've been a strong supporter, authored, in fact, pay-as-you-go budgets back in the early 1980s here in the Reagan administration, which failed, I might add, was a strong supporter of Gramm-Rudman-Hollings, which was designed as well to inject some fiscal discipline into the process. But what we need to be doing is growing our economy, giving people a sense of confidence and optimism again, that we're dealing with some of the deep underlying problems that have caused their earning power to decline by almost $1,000 over the last 6 years. Healthcare costs have gone up 87%. Energy costs continue to rise. The cost of higher education. The cost right here at the University of Iowa has gone up 141% the last 6 or 7 years. So we need to have an economy here that's driving to growth, creating jobs, which is the best social program anyone ever created, with a sense of optimism here. And then simultaneously, as you grow and deal with the underlying waste that's occurred, bring an end to the war in Iraq, which costs us $10 billion every month, that we can begin to put that discipline back into our process, which all Americans are looking for. But the national government is a very different entity than the state government. Requires a lot more flexibility to it.
Senator Edwards, we have 30 seconds for these rebuttals.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, first of all, what we have to do is get rid of the structural deficiencies in the American economy. We have to create jobs, protect American jobs. We have to strengthen and grow the middle class, which is struggling mightily in this country today. And one of the reasons that we've lost jobs, we're having trouble creating jobs, we're having trouble growing and strengthening the middle class, is because corporate power and greed have literally taken over the government. And we need a president who's willing to take these powers on. It is the only way we're going to strengthen and grow the middle class, have universal health care, have a trade policy that actually works for American workers, have a tax policy that's not favoring big multinational corporations, but instead favors the middle class and working people.
Well, fiscal responsibility is a very high priority for me. We don't have to go back very far in our history, in fact, just to the 1990s, to see what happens when we do have a fiscally responsible budget that does use rules of discipline to make sure that we're not cutting taxes or spending more than we can afford. I will institute those very same approaches. You can't do it in a year. It'll take time. But the economy will grow again when we start acting fiscally responsible. And then we can save money in the government by cutting out private contractors, closing loopholes, getting the healthcare system to be more efficient. We'll do all of this at the same time, but the results will take a while for us to actually see.
So let me follow up on this, and I'll start with Governor Richardson. This will be a 60-second answer. When are tax increases necessary and appropriate then? And given the current deficit, which of your priorities would be worth asking Americans to pay more for?
Well, I think the 2% for the wealthiest Americans, that is unfair, unequal. That would go in my objectives as president. I think we also, when we talk about balancing the budget, I've advocated a constitutional amendment. Obviously, you can't do it in the time of war, recession. You can't do it in the time of an emergency. I would exclude Social Security. But I think what is critically important is that when we talk about our most urgent national priority, the war, we've spent $500 billion in this war. And these are funds that could go to our domestic priorities, to health care, to kids, to education, to improving our schools, to rebounding also in terms of our national spirit. But fiscally responsible budgets, I believe, are critical for economic growth. And we use the tax structure to incentivize the economy, to give preference to solar, wind, and biomedical companies and aviation and companies of the future. I would take those steps as president, along with improving our education system, too. That will make us more competitive.
Thank you. Senator Edwards?
Well, I just want to add one thing to what Governor Richardson just said. I think the truth of the matter is that the tax policy in America has been established by big corporations and the wealthiest Americans. That's why we have tax breaks for the top 1% and 2%. It's why the profits of big corporations keep getting bigger and bigger while most working middle-class families are struggling. So what we ought to be doing instead is getting rid of these tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans, big tax breaks for companies that are actually taking American jobs overseas. This is insanity when we're losing American jobs at the rate we are today. And then on top of that, we need to help middle-class families. I have proposed specific ideas to help them save, to help them send their kids to college, and to make sure that they can pay for child care. All these things are aimed at making sure that we strengthen the middle class, that we can pay for things like universal health care. I mean, you can't have universal health care, and being honest with people, unless you have a way to pay for it, and this is how I would pay for it.
Senator Clinton, 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's important that we recognize how people feel in Iowa and across America. They feel as though they're standing on a trap door. They're one pink slip, one missed mortgage payment, one medical diagnosis away from falling through. I want to restore the tax rates that we had in the 90s. That means raising taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals. I want to keep the middle class tax cuts, and I want to start making changes that will actually save us money in our Medicare budget, save us money for the average American. You know, during the 90s, the typical Iowan family's income rose $7,000. We can get back to fiscal responsibility and economic growth again.
I want to go back to a question. You all campaign on fairly